The Normanville area is southwest of Kerrang. It's mainly a dryland cropping and grazing area, but it also includes part of the northern irrigation region, and many farmers in the group have some irrigated land. Crops grown here are mainly wheat and barley, with some oats, vetch, canola, field peas, lentils and faba beans. Most of the group also graze sheep and a few have beef cattle. The Normanville area straddles the boundary of the Mallee, with the riverine plains to the east and the Avoca floodplain to the west. Light sandy mallee soils are the most common in the area, with red soda soils on the better drained areas and heavy grey clay soils in the lower drainage depressions of both the riverine plains and the Avoca floodplains. The last decade has been hard going. From 1997 to 2009, our area suffered 13 years of extended drought and low growing season rainfalls. This meant many failed crops and poor crops and pastures, and left paddocks exposed with poor soil cover. It forced most farmers into growing lower risk cereal crops and put a lot of pressure on paddocks needed for grazing hungry stock. In 2010, the locust plague came at sowing time, and they ate out large areas of newly emerged crops that had to be replanted and sprayed. Then the 1 in 200 year flood at harvest time caused extensive damage to roads and property, pastures and crops, livestock and grain, not to mention our morale. In 2011, after finally finishing harvest in March, mice became the big issue. Luckily, great stored water from the floods made for a good year despite low growing season rainfall and low grain prices. It's been a long period of high risk and high stress farming for our area. The Normanville Group's aim is to protect and improve our soils by reducing cultivation, optimising production to increase organic matter and soil cover, and improving our knowledge, skills and networks. These are some of the activities and achievements of the Normanville Group and the Farming for Sustainable Soils project that began in 2010. Machinery modification and upgrades. Using GPS and auto steer for accuracy in spraying and sowing. Sowing with narrow points on wider rows and inter-row sowing. And retaining stubbles and using yield mapping. Workshops and crop walks are held to discuss new and current issues in our area. Baseline soil analysis gives the group members a good idea of the current status of their soils. Visiting farms outside our area to look at different farming systems, alternative options, and create new networks. Using the yield profit crop model has helped us improve our crop management decisions and our understanding of soil water and nitrogen use and how it relates to our crops' growth and yield potential during the season. 20 farmers in the group used the yield profit model in the last 2 seasons. Our brains were stretched in the workshop on soil carbon and soil biology, where we compared the soils on 4 adjacent paddocks with 4 different management practices. We used EM38 mapping and soil testing to identify different soil types, subsoil constraints and potential management zones. 10 group paddocks were surveyed as part of the Farming for Sustainable Soils activities last year. Grazing cereals are one of the options being trialled by the group for early season feed and soil cover and good growth throughout the season. The Soil Health and Local Geology workshop held with Doris Blessing and Phil Dyson answered lots of our questions and raised quite a few more. The group trialled the Weed Seeker spraying technology, which uses sensors to only spray growing plants. It's ideal for spraying patchy or hard to kill summer weeds and as an alternative to cultivation, blanket spraying or no weed control. Each year there are many new crop and pasture varieties on the market with improved characteristics. Some of these include disease or chemical resistance, drought and boron tolerance, and better quality and yields. 18 group members trialled a new variety last year to assess the performance and suitability for their farm, soil type and operations. Herbicide-resistant weeds are a growing management issue, especially in reduced and zero tillage systems. Dr. Chris Preston highlighted the lack of awareness, potential problems and management options at the group workshop held last year. Some of the group activities planned for 2012 include setting up a focus paddock to bring together many of the new technologies and methods now available. We're going to measure 30 paddocks for soil erosion risk and baseline soil analysis, and test weed seeds from the group for herbicide resistance in our area. We're also going to trial 8 new seed varieties that the group have selected and continue to use the yield profit crop model. We'll also hold crop walks and related workshops. The Farming for Sustainable Soils project has meant our area has a working and vibrant farmer group, which is bringing about change with up-to-date knowledge, new opportunities and networks, and providing support and friendships. It's been a huge positive for the farmers in the Normanville area, and we plan to continue and grow into the future. So a big thank you to all of those involved.